screen, there should be a choice that says meeting views, and you might be able to toggle to what is called a larger gallery. I don't know where it's at on your device.
More actions. I'll look at that.
Yeah, look under there. That's where I find it on mine. On mine, it's at the bottom of my screen, but I'm
Gallery.
on an iPad. See that? Do you see the one that there's gallery, I think, and large gallery?
Yeah. So
try large gallery and see if that gets you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did that help, Charlie?
Everybody's there and it's holding.
Yay. Okay. All right. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. It is great to see your faces. And we have a full agenda, so we will go ahead and get started. I wanted to start with a brief update on Town Day. I know that Connie was there. And Nicole, were you able to join, or?
I was there for a little bit.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
There was a lot of people out there.
Yeah, that's what Leslie was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get a sense from you guys, because you were you two were the ones from our group that represented Vision Zero. So I kind of wanted to get a sense from y'all how it went, what you thought, and what people were saying when you were talking to them, and how you felt about the marketing and all that good stuff.
So I was there from a little probably before 9 onward, maybe till about probably close to 11:45 when I left. And I just grabbed a roll of the stickers and just walked. And as I found kids, just went to them and said, hey, do you like stickers? And used that to strike up a conversation with their parents. People were generally pretty open. The folks that I approached generally responded by saying, I would just introduce it by saying, this is the town's pedestrian and bike safety initiative. We're trying to make it easier for you and your kids to be out on the roads. And people were generally, as we saw with our task, the previous task force, really responsive to that, really grateful for it. I didn't have really anybody say to me, oh, well, that seems like a waste of time, or why the heck are you doing that? It was just, people were just very open to it. So and getting the stickers to the kids was great. While I was at the table, a couple of people carried the postcards away, but I think that'll be more for, like, even if we can work with the merchants to get those postcards on their counters, that's kind of what we want to do with those, I would think.
Yeah, and I secured that we can share it with the Safe tent next week for the Bike Expo. So I didn't have any stickers or anything, so I need to make sure that we can work together so that I can get the materials. And I also got like a whole box of pins from Bike Walk and See, so we can hand out like pins in the shape of a bike to the kids and stuff like that. So that should all be, we should get some attention there, hopefully.
Nicole,
Leslie, you're taking the same stuff over, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll send with Charlene the stickers and cards.
Okay.
So she'll bring those to the Bike Expo.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll be there, and we'll have a Safe tent.
Okay.
So we can all the bike and pedestrian related stuff can all be together. So I think it's good, because then everybody knows that we're all working on the same thing and we're all aligned, instead of them thinking that we're doing different things.
That works. Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday, and that is 10 to 12 at Bailey Road Park. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, Nicole, I'll be there. So I will
Awesome.
I will meet you there. Melissa, do you know if you were able to go on Saturday?
Yes, I'm on call that day, so as long as I don't get called in, I will be there to help out as well.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. I'll be excited to see you. How about you, Charlie?
I had planned to ride, but I have a workman coming to deal with a understory issue of my house, and I have to deal with that. So anyway, I plan to come, but I'm not gonna try to do the ride simply because that conflicts, but I intend to get there as soon as I can.
Okay, yay, great.
I hate
Yeah,
it because I have to use the daggum car.
yeah, me too. It sounds like it'll be a good turnout though. I think Pat was gonna be there, so most of us should be there next Saturday, so that'll be exciting.
So again, the hours are 10 to 12, is that right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
And something I heard, Jennifer, like when people would come to the table and they'd see it, the first thing they would say before I could say anything back, they'd see it and oh, Vision Zero, is that zero carbon?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'd be like, well, we're doing that too,
Yeah.
but I said, that's a
We're-
goal of 2037. This is an immediate goal of now.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's just something. I-
That's interesting. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, we're also being sustainable, but however, we're being safe when we're crossing the street as well. Okay, all right, sounds great. Very good. Okay, so I want to kind of turn it over to, I guess, Doug, for any progress updates, and Leslie, on behalf of the staff, that have happened since our last meeting.
Yeah, great. One thing of immediate interest is the changes to the downtown traffic signal modifications. You may remember we're separating the vehicle left turn movement from pedestrian crossing movement, and we're adding active signs that light up when someone's in the crosswalk to prevent a right turn conflict. So that right on red, that driver will now get a sign that lights up that says no right on red. We finally got this approved by the NCDOT, and we're purchasing, it's about $30,000 worth of, $20,000 worth of equipment. It's mainly the signs, and the NCDOT will be installing those. So we've got about 3 weeks lead time on the signs, which is actually pretty good lead time in this day and age, when stuff is taking months. So I'm pretty excited to get that change in place. I think that most of the drivers aren't going to notice it because you won't, to the driver, they'll notice the right turn movement, but from the left turn movement, they may not be cognizant that they're being separated from pedestrian phase. But people crossing will definitely recognize it. They'll probably be used to looking for those conflicting traffic movements just to see, am I safe to step out in the street? And they won't be coming, and that's good. So excited about this. We had a great traffic engineer there at NCDOT that was very helpful. He's moved on to the city of Charlotte now, but we're still honoring this. So I'm excited about that. We have
Hey,
two.
Doug, before you go
Sure.
on, how
Yeah.
do you know how like Amanda, how is it going to be announced generally rather than, how's it going to be noticed? How are they going to announce it?
Yeah, we'll have to do some kind of blitz with this before it goes in. Normally with changes like that, the NCDOT, or a lot of the time the town will bag signs. And that means that we put them up in place with a plastic bag over them for a little while, and everybody looks at them and says, that's something that's coming. They can see it there. What are they going to unveil? So it's something that we do for that reason. But like I say, the left turn won't appear different to motorists, but the right turn sign will, and we'll have to spend some time educating people about that, and our police department will be involved in that. But that will
I think
be,
Amanda ought to be like tweeting this out. It ought to
Yeah.
be in the town message. Like we ought to be talking about it over and over and over again. Every time you make a change like this, I think you should be previewing it Amanda, not you. I know you got plenty to do with the actual logistics of it, but that should be talked about a lot.
yeah,
I think.
I've had it in the town message, but absolutely. Yeah, people forget, because these things can sometimes take a long time because of the approval process. So absolutely, when it goes in place, people just need to understand what it is. It's not it's not so much a change in the signal timing for right turning vehicles. It's just emphasizing what's already the law and calling it out and what's already in place, which is you're turning right, you need to make sure that no one is in that crosswalk. And this just is a major emphasis to that. So absolutely. Yeah. It's,
Yeah, I mean, I think too, it ought to be positioned as in this effort that y'all are making to make the roads safer, even if it's just making what is on the books work better, it should be as part of our pedestrian safety initiative, as part of our cycling safety, as part of Vision Zero, we are doing this just to keep the effort front and center. You guys just do not get enough credit or enough buzz on the things that you do. I
okay.
hope we can do more of that.
And Connie, I see this as a normal release for Amanda, which pretty much means she'll do a press release that will be sent out email wise. She'll use our social media platforms and put it out a few times on Facebook and Instagram. And then we'll put it in our Park and Rec bulletin that goes out every other week. So it will hit all our avenues of marketing that we do. And then in the newsletter, it's already been in somewhat, but when it's out again and actually working, then we'll put it out again. So yeah, we'll make sure to get it out for sure.
Davidson News too.
Yeah, News of Davidson. Yep.
The thing that really is on my mind with that is the hawk signals. And I think I've talked with this group about them, and that's going to be new here in town. And there are not enough of them around that we could sort of count on people understanding what they are, but they are intuitive. But this is the mast arm that hangs over the travel lanes, and the pedestrian comes and actuates a button, and they get it. There's a red signal. The red signal is a little bit different than a normal traffic light red signal, and there's not a green. It's either red or yellow. So that's going to be a pretty significant education approach, like we had when we put the roundabouts in, and like we had when we put the first flashing beacons in, the first RFB. So I think that the signal modifications downtown will take some work, but I'm really going to be very focused on the hawk signals as well. Because again, they'll be new, and that's coming October, November. That sort of brings me to a couple. Are there any questions about that? Sorry. A couple other items more in the short term. We're constructing the sidewalk on Catawba Avenue. That's the road behind Hoke Lumber there. It actually goes out to unincorporated Davidson. Goes to Lake Cornelius, but that portion of Davidson out there that portion is unincorporated. So we're putting sidewalk in there, and we'll also bid out Delberg Street. It came in at $500,000. So we're going to be folding that into our capital improvements plan. Let's see, talk about the capital improvements plan. That's really the major thing we've been working on, or certainly I have for the past month. And there are a lot of mobility related projects in the capital improvements plan, and most of them are related to providing a safer place for people to walk, improving intersections for pedestrians and vehicles from a safety standpoint. So I think that a lot of these items in the capital improvements plan are of interest to Vision Zero. And I'm just going to share that with you here really quickly, but I'll forward that to everybody because it may generate more discussion here. Let's see here, share content. Sorry, I don't use this Teams as much as Zoom, so I've got to actually go grab this in a folder.
So, yeah, Doug, while you're doing that, I was going to ask about the our spot in the town messenger. What is that going to look like? Do we have sort of a dedicated portion of that newsletter that we're going to be focused on Vision Zero, or has that been sort of decided how that's going to look and roll out?
Leslie, can you help with that while I track this document down? I'm sorry. It's on my
Yep,
desktop.
I
I just don't know how to
I
share my
spoke with
desktop.
Amanda, and we'll have a section in the next one. There is stuff in it that will be in this newsletter one, that we just staff put in, that's Vision Zero information. But starting the next one, I did talk to Amanda about possibly having the task force put something in. So, yep, and I'll find out the dates for that one. But there is Vision Zero information in this next one that should be coming out. I think end of May is when it goes out to, or middle of May, middle or end. I can't remember the date.
Finally, is that working? Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Thank you, Dan.
Sorry, I'm not fluent. So just gonna go through this really quickly so you can understand the structure of it. So these are all mobility projects shown here on the left. So for instance, this one here is post-construction pedestrian safety. This is the Potts Beatty Sloan corridor is a NCDOT project that's creating a north-south corridor along the Potts Street, Sloan Street, Beatty Street alignment. This project's over 20 years old. So following that, we have about 400,000 budgeted here for post-construction pedestrian improvements. So those are improvements to the intersections along that roadway, may include some pedestrian amenities, crossing lights, some traffic calming, some other things. So that's just an example of one. This is the intersection of Pine Road, Concord Road, and Gray Road. And we have proposed improvements for that intersection that sort of realign those roads to improve the sight lines from every quadrant. And that's going to improve that intersection for all users, for pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. So this is an example of all the projects that are out there, what year we plan to fund them. In some cases, we are leveraging grant funding or planning on that. In those cases, or the town either has a 20% to 80% match, or in some cases, 30-70. They're different matching amounts. But you can see here, we've included some greenways projects, intersection improvements. This piece here is a 5-year sidewalk plan. The mobility subcommittee and town board asked us to develop a scoring methodology to help rank sidewalk projects. We did that. We have that available. And so these are some of the larger projects that are funded with capital plan. Infill modernization sidewalks are going to be cases where we have substandard sidewalks in town. And the main example is the south side of Concord Road there, where it's just too narrow. It doesn't meet the modern standard, and it's hard for people to traverse with a stroller, let alone with a wheelchair. So we've got some money set aside for modernization and also construction of these pieces here. So that's the sidewalk plan. And then here's another intersection project that's Main Street, Griffith Street, there at the college entrance, and that's a really nice improvement there. It's a median in the middle of Griffith Street. So in general, this is the CIP. I'm going to close it here. Let's see there. Did that stop the share all right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the town board reviewed this CIP May 2nd. And if it's approved, it will be approved with the regular budget at the end of this month. And monies will start being available in July 1. So I am
Can I ask a
glad.
question? Can I
Sure,
ask a
yeah.
question, Doug, just in terms of communication, right? And it's more my understanding, so I might be totally ignorant and just not know it, but there was a whole plan for like up to 2027. How do we communicate about the long-term piece to the community?
Yeah, in general, one of the challenges is the CIP is a financial planning document, and it's reviewed every year, and we make changes depending on what's happened. I mean, in some cases, we have gone out for grant funding and not got it, so then we revise the whole CIP again.
Yeah.
So, you know, in general, I don't think that it's been something that we've gone to a lot of trouble to share. It certainly is public information and some people are interested in it, but we've not spent a lot of time sharing the CIP, I don't think, with the general public. We've shared it with our committees, our boards, mobility subcommittee, et cetera, but no. One thing that would be glad to do is provide all y'all a copy with it. The other thing that we have are project cut sheets. So you can just kind of take a look at these projects and see, you know, see what they are and how much they cost. I think that'd be very interesting. And they're almost all focused on safety. There's very little here that is, I don't think there's anything except possibly Sloan Beatty Carter that is intended to increase or manage vehicle capacity. So these are almost all about safety.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Sure. And I'll go ahead and link y'all to both those documents here as soon as the meeting's over, so you have those and can ask questions next time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be helpful.
And that's it. I've been having my nose down in the CIP for almost a month now and kind of keeping these other things going, regular projects. So that's all I have to report on the updates. I don't know if Leslie has anything.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Could someone touch on the interview process?
Yeah, I'll be glad to. We are assisting the UNC Highway Safety Administration, their staff, with preparing a community readiness assessment for the town of Davidson. I don't necessarily think that this is something that we would normally be doing at this juncture in our Vision Zero process. But what is driving it is they have an intern that is ready to do all this work, which involves interviewing, I think it's 10 to 12 residents in Vision Zero communities across the state, and really kind of developing some scoring and information for us. I'm going to try to share that here really quickly, one page from it, so you can see what it is. Okay, so this is the page I found that I thought was most useful. There's 30 pages to this. This is a document that just describes the interviews, but here you see it's the dimensions of readiness for Vision Zero. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Okay, so the dimensions are community efforts, community knowledge of efforts, leadership, community climate, community knowledge about the issue, resources related to the issue. So they'll be talking with these 10, 12 residents and sort of asking a series of questions. I think the interview can go for like 30 minutes to 60, depending on how much the interviewee has to say. But this, again, the intern is conducting these interviews for us, and they were looking for some people to participate in that. And I kind of went through and tried to find folks from everywhere in town, similar to what you all did with the Pedestrian Safety Task Force. So I've got a downtown business owner.
Is that Matt?
It's Matt, yeah. And I've got Letha Smith from the West Side is helping, Dave Cable from the Lands Conservancy. I wanted to try to reach some of the neighborhoods in the east that we don't tend to get a lot of participation from. So I got somebody from River Run, and I just basically sent an email to the property owners associations of River Run, Summers Walk, and Davidson East, and said, would one of y'all in the HOA like to be interviewed so we can hear a little bit more from you? So I've got those 3 neighborhoods. I've got Pete Moore at Davidson Day. I reached out to 3 or 4 people in the exit 30 area, and he was the only one that responded. So north of Griffith area, Alice Suddeth, and Yancey at Davidson College is helping us. So we're not limited to those people. If y'all have anybody you'd really like to participate, or if any of y'all would like to participate, let me know. And this young lady at the intern will call you an interview. So it's Cheng Ma, her name is. Again, it's 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes. And when she's finished conducting all these interviews, we're going to get this information back, and it's something we'll have, and I think it'll be useful to us. So is that helpful?
It is. I was kind of surprised when I didn't know what Matt was talking about when he told me that he was getting ready for his interview. Doug, do you have any concern, like maybe having some balance with someone who wasn't looking so much for the enforcement part of things on the pedestrian safety task force, like balancing that out, do you think? Or like,
Yeah.
I guess I just don't understand are these supposed to be people that are getting interviewed who have kind of no background, and it's kind of what do people in the town actually know about pedestrian safety, or what are the parameters for trying to select them?
My parameter there was I was looking for a downtown business owner, and didn't feel like reaching out to the restaurants because of their hours and management, and that's all it boils down to.
Okay.
I did think about Megan Blackwell, and I could reach out to her as well, but that's basically all it was. Nothing more. And I tried to reach an exit 30 business owner, and probably should have spent more time trying to get someone out there to respond. But I didn't get any response from anybody out there except for Pete Moore. It also wouldn't hurt to have a South Main business owner. But I was going to try to reach business owners in those 3 quadrants, and that's all it boiled down to. I had Matt's contact info, but you raise a good point. And it may be better that we have somebody or someone else that's coming into it sort of new. Yeah, Letha was also on the pedestrian safety task force.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Ruby Houston, but I don't have her email anymore. Something's changed since she
Doug, I
stopped
can get
working
her
for
for you.
CMS. So,
Doug,
but
I have contact information for her if you want to get it.
yeah,
Texting, she
I'll
responds
ask
much
her.
better.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
I have contact information from Carburetors and Wits if you want that area.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly know Doug Surratt very well. I had not been inclined to reach out to the restaurant owners as much, although I don't know. It's kind of their hours and other things that they're dealing with right now. But it would be good to get a voice down there on South Main. But again, I was focused at it more geographically than anything else. That was kind of what was driving my decisions. I was trying to make sure that we were getting everybody who could geographically. And
I
even
think
there,
Wits might
more
just
than
be
12
interesting
people.
because they get a lot of kids and after school and stuff like that because it's ice cream.
Yeah,
And like people walk their dog there. So that might be just it's kind of a restaurant because it's food, but I think it's slightly different in terms of the clientele they attract. Like people walk there. I mean, they have ice cream for dogs. I don't know. Maybe that's just a different angle to look at it.
I'm glad to reach out to them. I'll also ask Chang how many people she's prepared to interview. I mean, I don't, as long as she doesn't have any limitation on it, I certainly don't. I feel like anybody that's willing to do this for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. I mean, some of this, like for instance, from working here for over 10 years, the River Run community, speeding in the neighborhoods and speed tables that's what we're going to hear, I'm afraid, and not much else, but maybe we will. But I did want to we haven't heard much from the Summers Walk neighborhood or Davidson East neighborhood, so I'm happy to have them participating. And again, if y'all have any suggestions about people that, or if any of y'all would like to be interviewed, let me know and I'll send their names on to Cheng.
Is that
Connie,
document?
you look
Doug,
puzzled.
All of us or just
No,
one?
Connie, you
Connie.
look puzzled.
No, it's just probably the lighting. Doug, I wondered that document that you're working from, whatever's shaping this interview process, is that available to us somewhere where we could get some background, or did I just miss that?
I think Leslie sent that out fairly recently, or Leslie, you're muted.
Yeah, I just looked. I sent it at 5:32.
Yeah,
I
think
saw you send it, but I didn't have time to look at it yet.
no, part of what's going on is I mentioned that really the highway safety research is driving this right now. They're actually conducting all the interviews. They just asked to be provided the 10, 12 residents. And I've been so snowed under with CIP. I haven't had time to look at this that much. So I do have a break now and can look at it a little bit more. I don't think it's something we would be doing at this juncture if it was just a town program, but it will be helpful to us, and it's our state tax dollars at work.
I don't think I got that email, Leslie.
Resend it. Connie.
Yeah,
It's a 30-page.
I just resent it.
thank you.
And as I read this, I don't think we've done this before, but I think the community readiness assessment model is used for a lot of different things. In this case, it's being used for Vision Zero, but it's not, I think it's not exclusive to Vision Zero.
Did you get it, Connie?
No, I'm going to send you my email again. It seems like there's an old email of mine
I wonder
floating
if
around town hall. And so I'm going to have you use this one from now on.
okay.
It's really, the one I think y'all have is really old. I just put it in the chat.
Okay. I'll pull it up right now and send it.
Thank you.
Okay. If no more questions for Doug, Connie, I know you wanted a minute to discuss your presentation at the conference.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it on everybody's radar so that everybody's aware of it. There's a conference, North Carolina Transportation Safety Institute holds a conference in August. I think the specific day is Thursday, August 18th. And they reached out to me, Elise reached out somewhere between the time that we finished the Pedestrian Safety Task Force and we got Vision Zero up and running, and asked if I would be willing to be on a panel that she was putting together on Vision Zero. Specifically, she was looking for someone from pedestrian safety to weigh in on what we thought we did in terms of building the civic engagement with that effort. So there's lots of lead time before I get to the point where I'm going to present. We are going to actually be in Kiowa. So what they agreed to do is have me send a short video, and then I'm going to be a part they'll play the video, and then I'm going to be part of a panel with 3 or 4 other people, all of whom come from different parts of the Vision Zero effort. So there'll be someone who from a community who's a town official. There'll be someone from an advocacy group, it sounds like. So she tried to, so I guess I'm the citizen, I think, is my role. But one of the things I wanted to throw out to you all that I was thinking of when I talked to Elise about doing this is because their focus for us is on the high degree of citizen engagement we got on that initiative and that we generally get on programs. I wondered if it might be interesting to talk to Laura Schumacher on the Pedestrian Safety Task Force. We had talked about doing a short video that would be used not for a presentation, but would be used for part of an outreach campaign to talk about pedestrian bike culture in town and what we're trying to do with our safety efforts here. I wonder if that's worth me reaching back out to Laura and asking her to what degree she'd be interested in helping us out with that, so that the video could actually serve more purposes than just the presentation for that conference.
And Connie, who is Laura?
Laura Schumacher is the person who just helped us all with all those stickers and cards. She
Oh,
was
gotcha,
on the
gotcha.
pedestrian safety
She
task
created
force.
the logo.
Yes, and
Okay.
she owns a graphic design company and does lots of communication work.
Okay. I like the idea of having a video. I think that it provides more longevity than just, you know, a presentation.
I
would.
like the
So,
idea of making it sustainable and reusable.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll reach out to her and talk to her a little bit about it and just keep bringing ideas back to this group. When we talked about it on the task force, we'd even talked, I mean, that was in the middle of the school year, so we were even talking about using some of our AV kids to help be her crew so that she could do it sort of on a pro bono basis and they could learn something. So I might be able to find a kid or two who wants to do something like that over the summer that could help us out. Do any of you remember way back? I don't even know why we did this, but do you remember the 6-word stories video? Was that part of a comprehensive plan way back? Maybe.
I don't think it was a part of plan. I think it was just it was just a kind of not an initiative, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess kind of an initiative just to get out there, you know, what the town meant. And I think Christina had seen 6-word stories in some other community.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's do this because it's a great way. And people that don't like being interviewed because they're afraid they're not going to say the right thing can do this because they can think of 6 words ahead of time and say it on camera, you know, and be prepared for it. So I think that's what it was, kind of a campaign of what Davidson means.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Because
looked it up on the
that
website.
occurred to me.
It's
Is it
still
still
on the
there?
town website, but it doesn't say what the impetus was, but it's still on there.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good video. And I could see that, you know, if we did something like that, it could kind of capture the engagement, like actually demonstrate ways in which people engage on this particular issue. And then that's something that we could pick up part and parcel, and it could be, you know, something that's linkable on the town website. We could send out in social media. If those, I don't know if those boards in the red phone booths are running, but if they ever get up and running, that could be something there. It could be part of a welcome at Davidson College when they do tours. Like there's all kinds of things we might use that for. So if you all are amenable to that, I will reach out to Laura and talk to her a little bit about that.
Yeah, I really like that, Connie. I think that's great.
Okay. I will get on it.
If you need anything from us, let us know.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Does Laura do video? Is that one of her things that she does? Okay, great.
Yeah.
One of many.
And Connie, when is the conference and where is that?
The conference is, I think, well, I know it's in Raleigh, and I think it's like a 4 or 5 day conference that's more generally about transportation safety. But there's this one slot on Thursday morning at a really god awful hour. It's like 8 to 9:15 or something like that. So apparently they've done a Vision Zero panel in it maybe the last 2 or 3 years, and she really wanted to, like, I guess up to this point, the presentation they've done has been, this is Vision Zero. And it's been that kind of, expository kind of presentation. And so she said, when they asked me to do another one, I thought, I don't want to trot out the same thing. I'm going to bring people from different points of view and different stakeholders to talk about why they're involved and how they're involved in our community, she thought of, because of the level of civic engagement.
Mhm. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
I wanted to, I know we're running a little bit low on time. I wanted to see if there were any updates, Doug and or Leslie, on the consultant process, and then also the budget amendment for Vision Zero. I guess that the board looked at last week, and how that would impact this group.
Doug, well, I can say, okay, so the budget amendment did pass, and so they've set money aside. And Doug, if I'm right now, our next step is to move forward. And so Doug kind of knows more of that process because he's going to be leading up this plan, because I've been put to work with another group on their plan. So Doug, do you want to kind of give an update of kind of next steps and what this group needs to start working on and doing?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what we need a RFQ. We need a request for qualifications. I think that I have sent y'all an example of one already in a previous meeting, but if not, I'll send another one. I'm glad to start drafting this thing and bring it to subsequent meetings. At the end of the day, I would like for y'all to be happy with what we were asking the consultant to do here and make sure that it fits Davidson. I'm happy to let y'all participate in as much or as little as you like. You just need to let me know. I do need to make sure we go forward with it because I've got a directive from the town board. But how you all can let me know how you would like to be involved. Would you like for me to draft something and bring it to the next meeting, or would y'all like to participate in it some way, shape, or form?
Doug, I think if you could draft something just so then they kind of know how it goes, and then they can mark up and kind of wordsmith and add to it, because then they'll kind of have a knowledge of what wording is like on it and what they need, and then they can take what their goals are and just to give them a skeleton to work from.
Okay.
Would that work for you guys? And then you guys can cut and paste and edit, and
I think that would be helpful.
I would be fine with that. Now, do
And
we have
when would
until
this need? Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have until next meeting to prepare comments on this, or would we need to submit that prior to next meeting, or when would we need to submit this?
Let me think about that here. I mean, if it's okay, I will go ahead and get started on it. I don't think we have any hard deadline. I think we need to continue to make progress on it. We don't have a hard deadline of, say, May 27 or something like that. So I feel like if it's okay, I'll go ahead and draft something and I'll send it to y'all when I'm done. Maybe kind of the end of next week kind of thing, something like that. And then start giving me feedback. Is that
When would it ideally be done?
pardon?
Like
When
if you would have
ideally-
to say by that date, I want it to be finalized, what would that date be that we know what we're aiming for at the end?
Oh, I would say I would say mid-June. I mean, is because once we send it out, we have to give the firms, I've given them anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how busy people are. What you don't want to do is tell them, these are all the consulting firms, tell them it's due in 2 weeks, and then nobody can do it because they're so busy or they can't do a good job of it. So I'm looking to give them enough time to make sure they provide a very good submittal. And then you start the process of scoring the submittals. So, you know, whenever this thing goes out, gosh, just so you know, you got 4 to 6 weeks to get submittals, and then it's usually pretty challenging reviewing them, depending on how many you get. Sometimes you get 3 and sometimes you get 15. So, you know, it's probably going to be 4 to 6 weeks reviewing them, you know, especially if all the group is heavily involved. So we got 10 weeks there, you know, before we selected a firm. But that's the process. We have to go through that process, and it's in some cases, it's a very good process. So that's kind of it. And so with that being the case, we'd be better off. I think the best case is if we were done by the end of May, but I'm just not sure that we'll be there yet. But that would be the best case scenario. But mid-June, let's say mid-June.
Okay, yeah, I think we can do that.
Because mid-June would be, I think, good at the latest, because that would give us time to work through it, all of you guys to go through, and then we could have a discussion at our June meeting. And then hopefully by a week after that June meeting, we'll have something to move with. And that would be the middle of June.
And usually we're going to be, you know, what we have to do is give the firms a chance to sort of to separate themselves somehow, or give you some reason you need to set it up such that you can make a choice. We set it up very generally. It can be really hard to choose which firm because they all look pretty good. So you have to write it in such a way that you get responses that you can say, this is the one for Davidson. So that's what we'll be working on.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thank
Any other from that budget amendment, is there anything else you can share with us how that will affect our work?
The budget amendment really was to set aside a certain amount of money for the plan and the consultant. So to the extent that you'll be working closely with a consultant, that's really how it affects you, and helping to select.
Okay.
So yeah. So
Right.
it's
mostly just focused on the consultant.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, we're just focused on selecting the consultant, and this is a legal requirement for procuring engineering consulting services above a certain dollar amount.
Okay.
But Jennifer, I think in the meantime, though, set aside from that, we need, you know, this task force needs to continue to work on ways to educate and work on those pedestrian safety task force recommendations that we can work on. And a lot of them are the education, you know, working with Charlie. I'm going to get Nicole up to speed, and with us, we're talking about the traffic garden. So doing some work and moving forward still on those goals, why we are choosing a consultant and moving forward with the plan. I think that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think heading into summer is going to be a great opportunity for us to be visible, and a lot of events in Davidson and just more people out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Charlie.
Thanks for mentioning the traffic garden, Leslie. Leslie and I had a good conversation about that, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Leslie's working on a possibility of a site, considering several options. I heard from Erica Croak, who helped, I think I've mentioned this before, fund and get built the Davidson Cornelius Daycare Center playground. And I heard from her today, she said, can you meet me tomorrow at Summit? I've got some ideas for the traffic garden. So I'm going to keep just having these conversations until somebody tells me to stop, which I haven't met anybody who's not interested in it. Tracy Madison Brandon is very interested in it. She's also interested in well, I don't want to misrepresent her. I won't. She's interested in affordable housing too, but she says, 50 years from now, we're going to still be worried about housing. We need our children to hold us accountable right now. And the traffic garden, she had never heard of one before. We had a great talk about it. And she's kind of has energy for it. So let's build on these conversations is all I'm saying. Maybe we can is this relevant at all to the consultant issue, Doug? I don't see exactly how it could be, but I don't think so.
I mean, it may be tangentially, but I mean, this is certainly something we can do at the same time.
Thank you. I'm doing my same time is ongoing.
Yeah, so Leslie, I know you asked if I could stay on, but I have a SAFE board meeting right after this one, so I can't stay on, but I do have some ideas on. I got some interest. I'm going to say it on the call, but please don't use it against me because it's not confirmed at all. But I'm trying to see if Train Technologies can give space at our company's venue because we have a lot of parking lots. So I'm trying to, we work a lot around sustainability and community service. So what I'm trying to convince them is if we can start small, build one relationship at one school, have them go use it, prove the concept that it works and that we're building the community relations, and then it can be more long-term. So that's where my head is. I spoke to 2 people so far and they seem to be interested, but a lot more work to be done. So
thanks, Nicole.
I'm a little
Yeah, that's
scared in
great.
mentioning it because you know how it goes with big corporations. A lot of people need to give their blessings. But at least I didn't get a no yet. So for the people who know me well, I keep on pushing until I get a no. So I don't give up very easily.
Terrific.
That's awesome.
But don't say that outside of this meeting, please, because I don't want to jeopardize it by saying, hey, somebody said we could do this, but it's I haven't gotten a no, so keep moving forward.
Well, I know a close by school whose arm I can probably twist.
I figured. I was thinking about that.
I think
So
we probably have
the
some
way I
leverage
work
there.
is we pilot things, we start small, we prove it works, and then it suddenly becomes a lot easier to make big things work. So I just need to find a way to start small and think through how we do that.
Mm-hmm. Seems good.
So
Keep Katika in mind because she is also interested in this, staff person at Ada Jenkins.
Because that's really Nicole in talking with Charlie and stuff. I mean, we would love to see this happen more, in West Davidson and have a site over there, just because it just makes more sense. And with the transportation, it would just be really good and well served over there. But location, I mean, land is very hard to come by. So yeah, that would be great. But keep working your angles, and I'll give you a call, or I'll shoot you an email, and we can set up a time just to update on where Charlie and I are with everything, with our reaching out, and go from there. Because if we can work together and get things, we might be able to find something.
Well, and we can collaborate. I mean, the company works really well with Ada, so I'm pretty sure we can come up with ways that we can figure stuff out. So.
Terrific.
Because we thought about that Ada Jenkins field, but I think it's served in many other ways too. But it's not a closed door. It might be an option there. So, yep.
Very cool. All right. So the one thing I kind of wanted to touch on is something that I emailed out about prior to this meeting, which was the goals for this year for this group. So representing the Livability Board, I will need to present to them what this committee is working on in the form of just annual goals. So I did send you guys a PowerPoint from Walks and Rolls for last year, and that was the PowerPoint that contained all of the goals, all of our annual goals for Walks and Rolls. And technically our committee is Walks and Rolls. It was, you know, kind of, we sort of incorporated everything that Walks and Rolls was supposed to be working on just because it was so similar. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look at that, but I can bring it up right now. And just kind of scroll through this. But I'm sort of happy. I'm happy to kind of create a document on behalf of the group for Livability Board. I just wanted to touch base with you guys before I did so and see if you all had any recommendations or suggestions on how to kind of combine these goals. You can see here we have 1-year goals for pedestrian and bicycle safety. And then we had infrastructure 1-year goals.
Well, when do you need that, Jennifer?
So the Livability Board meeting is next Tuesday. So that would be the 16th, the 17th, I guess. Yep.
Did
So
you
you
want
need-
to condense it to like a 1-pager or what? How
Yeah,
much condensing did you want to? Yeah.
Yeah, something in this format, something, and what I do like is that the Walks and Rolls did have short-term goals in terms of 1 year and then longer-term goals, and we have that as well. And I did talk to Leslie about this. We don't want to get too in the weeds with Vision Zero because, you know, there are so many, you know, complexities and just intricacies, I guess you could say, with you know, our work. But I don't want to get too much in the weeds. I want to keep it more so simple. And so if anybody had any ideas, please feel free to shoot that my way. Or if you have some now, please feel free to share. But my goal is to keep it sort of in this format and just very simple. Nothing too complicated.
Well, on slide 1, you had like the education portion, right? So I definitely think we probably need to elaborate around that. And I mean, a goal could be I don't know how we would measure that, but make sure that every citizen of Davidson knows about the program. And I don't know how we would measure that, but kind of like a increased
Awareness
knowledge
or something
about it and awareness about it. I think those things would definitely be goals. I mean, and we have several moments, I think, where we have like the expo, we have other events where you could potentially go check, right? Do you find increased awareness? Do people know what we're all about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think promoting bicycle and pedestrian routes, parks, greenways, that's something we could probably keep on there. Watch for Me and See program. I don't really know how much work we're doing with that currently as a town, but definitely, you know, working with town staff and the police department. So those kind of partnerships. See, Click, Fix. I don't know that that's something do you guys know if we're still involved in that? Do we?
I tried to use it a while back and it seemed very vacant and unresponsive. So
Yeah.
I removed the app from my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I had heard that feedback as well. But yes, if that's sort of something that I'm happy to work on. And if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts after reading this PowerPoint, that would be great. Just, you know, feel free to shoot over any ideas you may have.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna drop off and go to my other board meeting, but I'll follow up on everything.
Okay, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you,
Nicole.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Leslie, did you have any other comments on the goals?
No, I thought those were good. Yeah, I was just gonna say, because with Connie and her email address, I'm gonna send out a roster with everybody's correct email address and contact info.
Okay.
Then everybody has that. So then we have everything correct. So I'm thinking about that. But yeah, I think those goals were good.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Right.
probably take out some of the specifics and just kind of clean it up a little bit, but I'll do that by the end of the week.
Look forward to getting it. I've got to run too.
Just an email
Okay.
from Sarah asking for the meeting Zoom link. When I was,
Oh, no, really?
yeah, because I was filling y'all in on the updates and all that, and I wasn't checking my email, so I just looked at it a minute. Can you send me the Zoom invite? So I copied
Okay.
y'all, make sure for whatever reason, she didn't get the meeting invite tonight.
I don't, and she didn't email me.
Yeah,
I did send it to her, but
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not sure
that's
what
okay.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. All right, guys, that's all that I have. Did anyone have anything else to close out or?
Good to see you.
Yeah,
see you all.
yeah, good to see you too. So it looks like we will be meeting again. I'll send all these out, but we'll be doing right now, June 13th at 6 o'clock. And hopefully I'll see you guys on Saturday as well.
And
Thanks.
Jennifer, don't close the meeting yet. Stop
Okay.
the recording, I guess, since we're done.
Okay.
Everybody else, if